Hey guys, Techify, and today I've got a review of the Razer Cynosa V2, Razer's brand new $60 membrane keyboard. If you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, please consider subscribing to the channel. I'd really appreciate that, but obviously you've got to see if my video is any good first. So guys, let's get into this. In the box you obviously get the keyboard itself, some Razer stickers, instruction manuals, things like that. There's nothing fancy included because it's a keyboard and you don't really need anything. First thing you'll notice is its very low profile, and I do like that about the keyboard, and it's definitely an advantage. The build quality overall is fairly good. There's no wrist rest included, but the ramp isn't too bad. It's fairly comfortable to use, however I personally would like a wrist rest, it's something I'm used to. Flex wise, like I said, build quality is good. If you go corner to corner there is a decent amount of flex in the keyboard, but in terms of deck flex, if you were to just, press on it hard while you were typing, there's next to none, which is quite impressive considering it's all plastic frame. On the bottom of the keyboard, Razer has included one of these cable routing features with lots of options, so you can have the cable come out the left, right, centre, or even straight down, let's say you have a hole in your desk. I think that's really good because, as I said when I reviewed the SteelSeries Apex 5, it doesn't really cost anything, it's not a big deal for manufacturers to add, but it can really make a huge difference and help people keep their setup clean. Speaking of the cable, it is rubber, it's not braided. To be honest, at $60 I would have liked a braided cable, but a rubber one is fine, especially on a keyboard, and it was a high quality rubber cable, so I have no worries there. Since it's a membrane keyboard, it is supposed to be more spill resistant, and that's one of the advantages. So here's a little spill test to see how well it's going to hold up if you were to, let's say, knock a glass of water on it.
Oh. Hit marker. Oh.
Everything is still working perfectly. Obviously, I'd recommend you shake off some water, but it seems to be good. So I know a mechanical keyboard would at least need drying off with this much water on it before it work. So that is one advantage of a membrane keyboard. Personally, I prefer mechanical keyboard. And although there is a big market for membrane keyboards, I do want to just remind you that there are plenty of options, especially if you're willing to go down to 60% size, for full mechanical keyboards at this price point, or even like half the price, with things like the Royal Clutch RK61 that I reviewed recently. There are some great things about membrane keyboards though. So first of all, like I said, it's a bit more low profile, and second of all, they're very quiet, so if you need to have a quiet keyboard, because mechanical keyboards are loud, let's face it, at least for most of the switches, then that's a big advantage to get a membrane keyboard. Here's a sound test of the Razer Cynosa V2. And for a quick comparison, play back at the same volume level the Cherry MX switches on my Corsair K70. It definitely owns the fact it's a membrane keyboard. There's no mechanical feel or anything like that. It knows it's a membrane keyboard and it does it very well. It has a 1000Hz polling rate and N key rollover, and that makes it very usable in games. It was more than good enough for intense first-person shooters with lots of key presses and things like that, so there's definitely no issues there. Obviously there are some more anti-ghosting advantages to a good mechanical keyboard, but for a membrane keyboard, Razer's done an exceptional job. Included in the new Cynosa are media keys here, which are very good, I do appreciate it, and I personally use them a lot. The only thing I didn't like was instead of any sort of volume wheel, you have this volume rocker. And in all honesty, it is terrible. It wasn't too responsive. It worked for the most part. I just really didn't like the feel of it. Everybody may be different, but I just wasn't a huge fan of that. Another advantage of a membrane keyboard is you can just have a panel behind, like this one does, to help diffuse the light. And it looks really bright and really good. Razer's done a really good job of the lighting on this keyboard. They look very vibrant, very sharp, and I was a huge fan of this. It really does look good in your setup. To complement it, Razer Synapse software and Chroma Studio allows full customization of the lighting, and it's really, really good. You can also customize a lot of the keys and things and other stuff using the software, so that is a big advantage of going with a big brand for your membrane keyboard like Razer, instead of getting, because on Amazon you can get membrane keyboards which will probably perform about the same for a little bit cheaper, but Razer's software really just does put it that level higher. Overall, I think the Cynosa V2 is a great membrane keyboard, but you have to want a membrane keyboard. If you said to me what's the best gaming keyboard for $60, I wouldn't say this. I'd say go for a mechanical option. Even if that meant sacrificing a brand name, the numpad or RGBs, I think mechanical switches are better personally. But if a membrane is something you want and you wanted the best membrane keyboard for $60, I definitely think it's up there. But overall, I just don't think the value for money is all there with the Razer Cynosa V2. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a thumbs up. Even consider subscribing to the channel for more cool content. If you have anything you want to say, any questions, don't forget to comment down below. I read them all and reply to as many as I can. If you want to look as great as me, and I know you do, you can go to techify.co.uk/merch and get yourself some cool designs on some t-shirts or hoodies. For your next video, I suggest you check out the Royal Clutch RK61. It's a $45 60% mechanical keyboard, and you can see what I think of it in the full video. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time.